Sometimes it pays off to wait until after the sneaker release in order to get it for or under retail. I'm gonna tell you guys how I did it, but let's get this thing opened up. I have the Air Force One linen here, and yes, I picked it up on StockX, but I got it for retail. Now, StockX isn't paying for this. I'm not getting a dime from them. I'm gonna tell you how I did it though. StockX has sell fee promo days where sellers can get a discount or zero fees on their sales. Usually on those days, I will find shoes that I want and increase the bid so that my bid is higher than the highest bid. It doesn't always work, but I find that I typically get a lot of my shoes on those days because if there's ever a time, that would be the day that the seller is willing to lower their price. But with that all aside, let's get into the sneakers themselves. Now, not gonna bore you guys with the history. We all know 2001, Japan regional exclusive release, came back in 2016. I think it was Miami during Art Basel. Very limited release, regional. Again, if you weren't there, it would have been really hard to get them. Then in 2024, they say, hey, let's give everyone a shot to be able to pick these up. And if you look at the prices, they're not crazy. You can grab these right now for a really great price. $135 US. Is that a little bit on the high end? 100%. I think especially for an Air Force One, which, we know it doesn't really have any tech at all, right? I've never been a huge Air Force One collector guy, but there's a few layers to this sneaker that made me want to get it. One, there's that historic piece, right? So if you remember them from the early 2000s, it was always something that was like, wow, you have those? How did you get those? Two, I think there's a rarity aspect, not just in the initial release, but then again, when they re-released them in 2016, it was really hard to get. A lot of people weren't able to get them. So then you're able to kind of tap into that nostalgia and that rarity factor in the year 2024 when everyone can get a pair. And then lastly, if those two things don't matter to you and it's the first time you ever saw the shoe, it's just a nice looking shoe. I think aesthetically, the colorway is really nice. Brown, pink, white. To me, this reminds me of like a very summery shoe. This is a shoe that, you would go to a day party, you got the button up on, you got the fitted cap on, shorts, or you're, on a yacht or a boat somewhere, right? This is that very summer sneaker to me. But I think they also have a place in fall, autumn as well, right? That brown, I think is really easy to pair with a lot of autumn fits. And then those pink kind of pastels, they're workable. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with it. To talk a bit about aesthetics, yes, there's some pink there. Pink, I think, is or can be a tough color for some people to pull off. Maybe you don't like wearing pink. Maybe pink isn't something that you typically wear a lot of in order to match up the fit. It's not a very, I think, like common mainstream color like a black or a red or a blue that almost anyone can participate in. But the pastels are pretty easy and it's not completely covering the shoe, so I really don't see it as a tough shoe to wear. Last thing I'm going to talk about here, just having it in hand, is the quality. Really curious about it because I saw all these photos and videos about how great the leather is. I'm not a big Air Force One guy, never really have been. I think when I was growing up, everyone would kind of have their whites. And that was really the only shoe that I needed. I really found Air Force Ones to be comfortable, so it's never really a sneaker that I continued to gravitate towards. With that said, there's a lot of Air Force One collectors out there. It's definitely a higher quality leather than what you're gonna find on your average Air Force One. It is on other premium Air Force Ones, such as the, I think it's the 50 Years of Hip Hop. So I'm a big fan of the quality. Again, not a ton of tech on it, but the leather itself seems pretty nice. I don't really get bugged out by like glue stains and manufacturing defects. I know a lot of people do, and you should be if you're buying a high quality product and you're spending good money on it. For me, I'm wearing my shoes, I'm beating them up anyway, so it doesn't matter. But regardless, this shoe looks really good. I don't see any flaws at all. I'm gonna throw these guys on feet right now. Let's get into that. All right, you guys, that's it. The Air Force One linen. This might have to go down as one of my favorite pickups of 2024. And you can get them, obviously, for a really great price. There's probably a bunch of other people out there that are able to get these at retail, around retail, under retail. The days of gatekeeping shoes is kind of behind us, right? Nike's able to push out all of these great shoes. We're seeing so many on the horizon for next year as well. If you're not subscribed already, I have new videos dropping every week. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.